Welcome back, everyone. Day 61 of the Wild Fit 90 challenge that I'm in. And we're still continuing on in spring. Day 61 is the end of week 9. It's Friday, it's enhancement day, but enhancement is we're staying in spring, and I'm so excited. And for those of you keeping track, I mentioned about possibly doing an extended fast, and I did do a 48-hour fast earlier this week, and it just still gives you so much energy. It went so well. But today, I actually wanted to talk about overall health. So for those of you who are new to my blog, hello, my name is Coach Angel from Angel's Bedrock Coaching Services. And I'm going to be talking now today about optimal health and self-care for that optimal health, because health is not just nutrition. Health is a myriad of things. I'm going to be going through 8 things that are considered body needs. So requirements for our body in order to have optimal health. And I'm going to be going in the order from most important that we can't live without to the least important. But even that least important one is important. So what do you guys think is the number one thing that we cannot live without? It's air. We have to breathe. We can't go more than a few minutes without air. I mean, some people have trained to be able to be underwater, etc., and maybe can go 3-4 minutes, but pretty much we need air, right? You know, our brain needs air. Oxygen is critical for us. But the quality, which is really the overall concept of this blog today, is the quality of what we're getting. So what is the quality of air? Do you think it's inside air, just being in my little room here, having the furnace or the air conditioner? No, it's getting out in nature. Getting out in nature is so beneficial for us, getting that fresh air. And then even in Wild Fit, we talk about breathing techniques because, again, for our overall health, our mental health, taking some breaths, learning how to slow down, learning how to minimize that stress, as well as meditation type practices to get to know ourselves is so important for our mental health. So that's really the first one I wanted to go over was air. Well, what do you think the number 2 need for our body is? Still not nutrition. It's water. Water hydration is critical for us. Our bodies are made up of over 77% water. And we can go probably a few weeks max without water, but that's when our health will start to decline because, again, I've talked about this previously, is our bodies use that water as its electrical transmitters for communicating throughout our body. So if we're taking that away, we're going to get a lot of signals lost. Well, now I also want to talk about, again, what is the source? The quality of that water. Not all water is created equal. So I know a lot of us, and I was one of them, when we go through life, we're just like, I'm just getting in my water. It's just a box to click. But the source of it really does matter. What do you think is the one source that is the absolute worst for us? It's distilled water. We think it's great because it's been stripped of everything. It's pure, it's clean, it doesn't have any junk in there. But remember what I was telling you about water and how it's like the electrical currents in our body? It is a magnet, it's an attractor, it attracts things. So now you're taking something that is deficient in something and putting it in our bodies, and it is taking what it needs, those minerals and those chemicals that attract to it. So as we're flushing that out, guess what? We're depleting our body of some very much needed nutrients. So fine, we're not going to do distilled water. What do you think is next? What about carbonation? Carbonated water is good for us. Is carbon really good for us? Carbonated is just carbon water. What is carbon? We normally expel carbon. So why are we ingesting it? I mean, have you noticed that when you drink carbonation, your body tries to rid yourself of that? What do? Sorry, guys, we burp, right? So that is our body's way of ridding itself from that toxin. So is it better than distilled water? Heck yeah, it's better than distilled water, but we still have to be mindful of the different things and the different types of water. Now, what about tap water? Tap water is natural. Well, is it? I mean, think about where you live. First of all, the water sources make a difference. What is your groundwater look like if you're drinking true groundwater? But most people live, at least in the North America, where I live in the Midwest, you're getting municipality water. So that's great, right? Because they're making sure the junk is out of it, and then they're adding stuff in, they're fortifying it to make us stronger. Are they really helping us? Because they're chemically treating water, chemicals, and then they're adding in chemicals that we need because we're not getting it through our foods that we should be getting it at the store. Do you see where I'm going with this? So it's not necessarily the best source, but again, it could possibly be better than the carbonated, or it could be better than the distilled. Our true best sources of water would be if we could go to a rainforest, drink the fresh water coming off of a rainfall, rainwater off of a waterfall. That would be ideal. So most of us, I wish I lived there, don't live near a fresh water source like that. So we get it bottled. So you'll find bottled spring waters or bottled mineral waters. Again, if you find the ones that are flavored, check your labels. There are hidden sugars and hidden chemicals for preserving things in so many of them. So if we're truly thinking about optimal health, sourcing of the water is important. So number 3 on the list of our 8 body needs, sleep. I've mentioned this before, the importance of getting in good quality sleep. Now, there are many things out there that say you have to have 8 hours, or you have to sleep in 90-minute increments, or it's impossible to, you shouldn't wake up in the middle of the night. Each of us are different. Our body needs are different, and it all depends on what we're eating. It all depends on how how much exercise we're getting. All of that makes a difference. But the important thing is that we're reaching a REM, or a deep sleep, because as I've mentioned in previous videos, that's when our body does like a diagnostics, like kind of goes through our body and sees where it needs help. And anything that's damaged or starting to go away, it'll put it down and be like, this is one that we need to burn later. It's going to remember that, right? It's going to remember this is it. And again, if we're getting that sleep and we're getting to that state, we may be already burning that while we're sleeping. So getting into that deep REM and deep sleep is critical for our overall optimal health. Okay, so what are we saying number 4 is? 4 is our body's energy. Now, mind you, I haven't even gotten to nutrition yet. Have you guys noticed? We're on the 4th body need and we still haven't talked about food. But our body's energy source is critical. So this kind of has relations to food, but it's really about how our body utilizes energy. So what are our energy sources? Well, number 1, hottest and fastest burning is carbs, sugar burning, right? We get into a sugar burning mode. And this is very important for our body. It does have great functions for our body, but we got to remember what's the theme of this? Source. The source of our products make a difference. So we're not going for boxed and processed non-foods. We're going for natural sources like fruits and vegetables and honey, right? That is what we're looking to try and get when we're in a carb and sugar burning mode. But it's very beneficial for our body to now maybe switch to fat burning mode. That is another energy source. And eating more leaner proteins and some more fattier proteins and some fat, and really getting our body to utilize that, flipping that switch so we can get into that fat burning mode is so key for us as well. And then what about when we fast and we don't eat? We are our own energy source, and it starts doing that little cell, autophagy stage, and our cells are eating each other, right? And that is beneficial as well. So our energy is meant to ebb and flow through these different types of sources throughout a year. So we're not meant to just live in carbs and sugar burning. We're not meant to just live in fat burning, and we're not meant to just live in autophagy. They all have their benefits. They all do a body good. So we need to figure out how to incorporate into our overall health and plan for times to hit and visit each of these. And during WildFit, that is one of the things that we talk about, is going through the seasons. Well, that's what each of these seasons are within WildFit, is a way of helping us navigate through those seasons. So let's see, what is next? What do we think number 5 is? Still not nutrition, by the way. It's movement. Our bodies were meant to move. We would have had to go hunting in order to get our food. So food wasn't as important as being able to move to get it, because if I broke my legs or an animal bit off my leg and I was laying there, guess what? I'd starve to death and I would be gone. I need to be able to move. We all need to be able to move. And especially as we age, it is true that if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Our muscles start to slowly atrophy if we don't use them. And by using them, it's telling them we need to grow, we need to be here, we're being used, we need to stay strong, right? So your body is going to focus on keeping them strong. Just like a bodybuilder. Do you think they get there by just working out? No, they exert themselves and overexert themselves to the point of fatigue, and then they're done. Well, guess what? The next time they go to lift, they can lift more, because that body was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you see that? We didn't have enough energy for that. We didn't have enough strength for that. We better start sending some growth hormones to that area, because we're going to need it next time. Same thing with, I know most of you may not know this, but it's our bones. If we don't move, our bones weaken and get more brittle. So that is one of the contributors to osteoporosis as we age. When we don't put pressure by walking or moving or leveraging things with our arms, the bones need to torque that little bit. That torquing signals usage, and that, we better keep and send growth hormones here to make sure that we stay strong. If you're not moving and you're sitting all the time, what's going to happen is your bones will get weaker. So it's so important. So I hope I helped cover all of that for you, because guess what? We're on number 6. We're finally at nutrition. Yes, nutrition is number 6 on our body needs. What we're putting into our body matters. But again, we're on this source kick. So I wanted to talk through a lot about, yes, we already know we should not be eating the non-foods, those processed sugars and junk foods that we've talked about over the past 9 weeks. But what is the source of the food that we're getting? Now, all of us are probably aware that, the farming practices for the animals are not that great. So we always want to make sure that we're looking for grass-fed, because we are what we eats, right? So whatever that animal is eating, they cut it up, we're eating it. So if chickens are fed grains, guess what? We're eating grains every time we eat chicken. If the cows are being fed grains, guess what? We're eating grains when we eat any beef products. So we have to be mindful of that. Now, I want to say that not just free range or grass fed are not the only things we need to think about when we're thinking about where our food is coming from. We would love to have the animals eating in their most natural diet. So as humans have a human diet, cows have a natural bovine diet, and chickens have a natural chicken diet, right? So they all have a diet that they are meant to be having. That's what we want. We want to get things in the most natural state. Well, unfortunately, we have industrialized farming, and we know this. And again, the animal products are what hits most. Most people are aware of that. That's why people become vegan, and they're like, they are anti-cruelty to these animals that are being housed. And yes, I agree, the farming practices are not great. But again, that is by not letting animals graze and not letting animals live on a farm's land, you're not getting the natural cycles. So there are a lot of plants and vegetation that we are eating, even if it's organic, that is not the same quality of food we used to get when it was natural farming. Regenerative farming is key to getting our earth back to a nutrient dense soil. So we have to be mindful of that. And one way I want to point this out is you can go to the store, and have you noticed how like the colors are brighter, or the items are bigger? I mean, I'm going to use like strawberries as an example. Most strawberries probably should be about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit bigger than that. But have you seen some of these now? Even the organic ones are almost the size of my fist, and I got big hands, right? So even when it's being, organic farming, we're hearing things of being organic. They may not be using chemicals, but how they're treating the soil, and by not allowing animals to graze and, their cycle, manure, there's so much nutrients in that. So if they're not using that type of products to be able to have a natural grown crop, is affecting us as well. So I just wanted to point that out, that there are bad farming practices, both animals and in vegetation, that it's really critical for us to pay attention to where the food is coming from. And I know that we all don't have the opportunity to buying, pasture raised meats and, regenerative farming vegetables. Like, we don't all have that opportunity. It's just something to be mindful of as you're taking care of your health, as you're getting your health in control. Once you have your, food freedom, and you no longer need the non-functional foods, and you feel you're eating healthy, it's just something to start paying attention to maybe take your health to that next level. All right, so let's move on here. So what is number 7? Sunlight. Oh my gosh, sunlight. Yes, I love the sun. Most of us, though, unfortunately, we are vitamin D deficient. Anymore, go to the doctor, and I think most of the population is vitamin D deficient. And why is that? Most of us now work from home, or if we don't, we get up before the sun comes up, we're in a car, we drive to a building, we get in a building, and we're in the building. Sun goes down, we get out of the building, we go to our car, we go home, and we're inside. So we're not getting sun exposure. Now, if you are getting sun exposure, what are you doing to protect yourself? You're lathering on SPF, right? Higher and higher and higher blocks of SPF. By not letting your body absorb that vitamin D, it is causing us to have a deficiency. Now, yes, I understand there are supplements, and we can supplement, but guess what? We're not meant to ingest our supplement for vitamin D. Our body is not meant to digest and absorb vitamin D. So no matter how much we're putting in, we're not getting every amount that we're putting in. We're probably passing a lot of that through. So best way to get our vitamin D is on the skin. Well, if we're lathering up with all that SPF, it doesn't have a chance to get absorbed. So what I'm saying is not go outside and burn like a piece of bacon, because burning is not beneficial for our bodies. But getting in sunlight without putting on those lotions and blockers is key for us to get our vitamin D levels up. So what am I suggesting? Let's say go outside for an hour if you can when you have sunlight, and try and get an hour of natural sunlight on your skin, as much exposed skin as you can, depending on the season, depending on where you live, all of that makes a difference. But try and get that on your skin. And then if you're going to be out for an extended amount of time, then, put some lotions on. But I, again, caution you, check your labels, because on those labels, look at what chemicals are in there. And remember, your skin is the largest organ of our body. So what we're putting on there, we're absorbing into our systems. So again, we want to be mindful of that. If you're thinking about your overall health, we really have to be mindful of that. And last but definitely not least is physical touch. Physical touch. Our mental health, all of these things feed our mental health, because the more of everything we have, our mental health will be improved. But this is a biggie. This is a biggie, people, especially most of us have probably learned this during COVID and the isolations that have gone on, that our moods went down, mental health issues went up, they were on the rise. And I think, and it's proven really that our bodies need physical touch. We need connection with people. Yes, pets are a great step up from being by yourself, but human interaction, human touch, a hug, a hand holding, any type of physical touch is really, really critical for our overall health. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I'm so excited to be here and to share some of the things that I've learned. One of the things that I would actually recommend is write down this list of 8 items just to kind of do a self-care checklist for yourself and see which things do you already incorporate and you feel pretty confident that you're good on, and what things might be deficient. And maybe create one small little thing you can do in each of the categories that you're deficient to help you create better health for yourself, a better balanced overall health for yourself. I would love to hear what areas you're deficient in and maybe what things that you have, tips and tricks to get some of that in to improve that. Just place that in the comments. I truly am interested. I hope this is beneficial for all of you guys. I look forward to hearing from you. If you would like to work with me as a coach and maybe go into some of these a little bit deeper and actually create plans for yourself, that's really what I do now. So I would be more than happy to do that with you. Just direct message me or go to my website. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I'm sending you all many blessings, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.